On Sunday night, flashing lights and crime tapes surround the outside of a home on Ross Street. On the inside, officers say they found two people, a mother and son, dead, and another son alive.
This was a domestic related incident involving unfortunately, a mom and her two sons.
Officers responded to the home just before 6 o'clock. Investigations reveal 25-year-old Brandon McDuffie fatally shot his mother. Officers identify her as 52-year-old Tracy McDuffie. The department says the son and mother got into an argument, resulting in the first round of gunfire.
Once the initial shooting did take place, there was some sort of communication to let that other son know that something did take place.
Blake Brown with the Mobile Police Department says from here, McDuffie's other son came to the home, and a second tragedy strikes just moments later. Police report the second brother then shot his younger sibling.
Situations like this are sad. I can't imagine the other brother walking in and finding out that his brother shot his mom, and then the brother's pointing a gun at him.
We went to the neighborhood where the shooting.
This is sad. So the mom loses her life, and then the younger brother loses his life. And now the big brother has to literally fight for his life because he has to prove that it was self-defense. He has to prove that it was self-defense, because if they find out it was not self-defense and it was more of an emotional reaction for, ending his brother's life just because the brother ended the mother's life, he will still go to prison. And that's the weird thing about, the law and the system. That's how the law system works, really, the justice system. But in all this, the only question I have is, where is the dad? Now, RIP if their dad passed away. But at the end of the day, personally, I believe with such tragedies, there's always an underlying issue. There's a root cause of all these domestic issues, especially when it's between a mom and the son. Because if he was 25, maybe now he's feeling like he's the man of the house. Because we know so many times single moms finally, once their sons grow older, they try to make them son husbands or men of the house. Now, sounds like the older brother just came to the house, so maybe he wasn't living there anymore. But at the end of the day, where is the dad? Because for a son to pull the trigger on his own mom, that shows, the emotional and mental trauma and issues that have been going on between him and the mom. Because you can tell this is not an issue that just started yesterday. By the time a son pulls the trigger on his own mom, there are so many underlying issues beyond the naked eye. I'm not saying it's right, but at the end of the day, if we want to see less of these, of such tragedies, we have to address the real issues. Because sadly, this is going to be swept under the rug. And then even the son who's left, who has lost a brother and a mom, this is going to be trauma for him. So if he doesn't get therapy, it's going to affect his life in some way. Even if he also gets kids, he could pass on the same trauma. This is what they call generational curses. He may pass on the same trauma to his own kids, and then the cycle will keep going.
Happened just 24 hours ago. I spoke with several neighbors who didn't want to be on camera. Some people even got emotional thinking about yesterday's shooting. And those that knew the family best say yesterday's events are a total shock. And Sunday's shooting is just the latest example of gun violence in Mobile. Brown says it's a call for change in the community.
I don't know what an easy answer is to solve it, but we know one step would be for folks to let us get involved early on so that we can hopefully prevent stuff like this from happening.
Yeah, man, this is a tragedy. It's really sad because now the big brother is gonna have to pretty much, first of all, fight for his freedom, because again he has to prove that he did this in self-defense. He didn't do it out of being mad or jealous, not jealousy, but out of emotional response. He has to prove that the younger brother tried to shoot him as well. But at the end of the day, after that, he has to deal with the trauma, and then he has to deal with the fact that he is a killer too now because he took someone's life. But he has to deal with the fact that he lost a brother and he lost a mom, because he will never really know exactly what happened between them that caused for the younger brother to end the mother's life. But like they said in the video, these are some of the issues that really people overlook in the community and in households. Like I said, if the dad has passed away, that's one thing. But they didn't even talk about the dad for some reason. And when you see these issues, so many times the dad is ignored. They never ask who is the dad. Now, whether the dad is a deadbeat or not, or unless he passed away, but if the dad is alive, we gotta ask some questions. Because you guys know, if you guys, for some of you guys who come from two-parent households, you know, most dads, in fact, once a kid gets in trouble, the mom usually tells the son, let's wait for your dad to come back. Oh, I'm gonna tell your dad. Because the sons know the dad will get them in place. You know, the dads are very, hands-on with their sons. They're always saying, listen to your mom. Don't talk to your mom like that. Usually the dads put down the discipline foundation. So, but if there's no dad in the house, tragedies like these, the sons feel like they're the man of the house because there's no man, there's no dad. So the sons are forced to take up the position of a man in the house. Even when there's a stepfather, they know that's not their real dad, so they will never respect the stepfather like they respect their dad. So this is a tragedy, man. I just wanted to cover this, but also most importantly because there's an underlying issue that it's probably never going to be talked about. But we know, and I believe personally, if there was a dad in that house, like I said, if he's not dead and he's just out of the house, if he was in the house, there's a high chance this wouldn't have happened. Because this son clearly learned the violence. He has been exposed to violence from somewhere. For him to come to a point where he has to pull the trigger on his own mom, he clearly has been learning these behaviors from somewhere. Whether he was a part of a gang, we don't know. Obviously, they're going to do the investigations and things like that. But he learned this behavior from somewhere. He didn't just wake up one morning and he's a good kid and then decided to pull the trigger on his own mom. So, what do you guys think about that?